Practice number 2, love the intensity. Wasn't as clean as I'd like practice 2 to be, but, I would probably guess that most of the time it's not. I anticipated that in our team meeting this morning, just saying yesterday you did a good job taking care of each other. And, but, after you get that taste of that first practice, the next day you want to go harder. And, thought there was too many, offsides on the defense. The offense did a nice job with their cadence. I thought, so that's a tribute to, Eli and the quarterbacks and Cade Bell. So he got him today. He won't get him again, but it's great that we see it that early of people trying to draw us off sides. I don't want to see it in September. Again, good work out of really all 3 phases, and pads go on Saturday. So that's kind of when you'll be able to tell a little bit more, at least up front. You see more out of skill guys nowadays, in these spiders than you do, really what you see out of the O-line, D-line, just because they don't have shoulder pads on. So I think it's tough that way. Questions?
What went into the decision to move Javon McIntyre from safety to star linebacker in this defense, especially with Kyle obviously being the starter?
Yeah. Javon McIntyre, he's done some really nice things at linebacker too, by the way. I mean, when I say that, he's a star, which is kind of like a safety in our defense. So it's a kind of a combination. We could eventually move him back to safety. What we want to do, I kind of told him the story of Jordan Whitehead. Like, I want him to master a position first. We felt like that was the best place for him to start off, and then we'll evaluate. But after 2 days of watching him out there, he picks things up. He's really smart, picks things up well. So I'm kind of excited about, what I've seen out of 2 days of him out there. He's got great burst. He runs to the football. He's been trained well from Ohio State. So as far as just he's not like a freshman out there. He understands how to practice at the collegiate level. So again, there's nothing in stone. There's never anything in stone, especially with those young guys. We're bringing them in, but what during the winter he was kind of meeting with Coach Sanders and also Man Lackett and going back and forth and I just think when spring ball starts, we got to say, okay, let's start here. Let's see what happens. And see what happens at the safety position too. We may say, hey, we need him back there. So we'll just kind of play it by ear. But I don't want him to focus on one thing, because I think if we focus on 2, he's going to be average, and we're not going to like him in anything. Right now I like him at the star position.
Similar question: what went into the decision to move Justin Cook from wide receiver?
Justin Cook's a talented kid. I'm fired up. We have him. Again, he can be a receiver as well as a running back. We just felt with the running back depth. We've got 2 freshmen coming in July, I guess. So we're going to have an opportunity to look at him at the tailback spot, then kind of just see where we know he can play receiver. We loved his videotape, so we know he can play wide receiver. We want to see what he can do in the backfield, and he might be a slash type guy that could do both. He's really smart as well, and I think those guys with football intelligence can do more things. And again, in our running back position, with Desmond Reed, he's got to catch balls out of the backfield. So it's not like we're going to just see him carry the ball. To have a guy that's a receiver that has running back athletic ability, and then get him the ball. So we're going to see his receiving ability and get his yak from that position as well.
Who has the early edge in backing up?
I would say right now it's Joel's without a doubt. I mean, the guy's played in games, and it took him a while to get going, but he looked really good, in the bowl game, and he just has continued. Like him and Des are like. 2 brothers. And again, when I say we got brotherhood in this room, but those 2, they do everything together. I mean, when Des is going to stretch in the training room, Joel's does. So I'd say him, but you need 2 or 3 or 4 of those guys. And, the Boosie kid, Turner, Jakarian, like he's, nicknamed Boosie. So if you hear me say Boosie, who is Boosie? I was talking to Jerry earlier about him, but he is talented. He makes you miss. And for a young guy, he's got a lot of tools as well. So we're excited about him and Justin Cook.
That's happening across the country where schools are canceling their spring games. Coaches saying they're afraid of other teams scouting their guys, trying to entice them into the portal. Would you consider putting up a spring game this year, and what made you decide to go?
No, we're not doing that. It's college football. It's an opportunity for our guys to go out and play in front of people, and to me, that's a whole nother opportunity to go show what you have. So we're going to have a spring game. I think it's going to be fun. Our guys have fun. We do the draft. We'll do the draft. We'll split it up and let our guys go play. We have a lot of guys we want to see for that 15th practice. And again, to me, those 15 days, that 15th day of being able to, to go out and have fun, play a game, a real game, like practice. they're having fun today, and they had fun Tuesday, and they'll have fun, hopefully practice 10 and 11. By practice 12 and 13, they're ready to play a game. And I think to have another practice, they'd be disappointed too. I'm not worried about the portal and guys getting recruited and all that. Like, they know who our guys are. I mean, they know who they are. They're going to have video. They got PFF.
What can be done about the tampering that's going on?
Absolutely nothing. It's embarrassing. And my fear is, just with, all the booster and NIL involvement that we have throughout the country, it took a long time to get that kind of under control, right? I mean, I would say there's still some teams that were still, finding ways to get kids paid, but at least they had to hide, and maybe some of these head coaches around the country were nervous about it being done. But now they let the cat out of the bag now, and now they got to get it back eventually, hopefully. I don't know, I don't know where that'll go. So, the great thing is with, revenue sharing and, the House settlement on April 7th, that'll, hopefully maybe manage some things. It'll take some, take some time there to get that done. But then to now all of a sudden say, ho on that stuff, good luck to you.
Matt, how would you describe the difference now having a year of Cade, knowing it's Eli, with the offense you're going through spring drills?
Yeah, Jeff, I mean, it looks, I was sitting there thinking that myself today, they're doing a team tempo period, trying to go as fast as they can, get guys lined up. They're getting lined up so much faster. It's like, even though we've got a bunch of new wideouts, but, just everybody being on the same page, and obviously we've done a better job coaching, but the second year always helps. And it helps when you got some older guys, whether it's Kenny, Kenny Johnson out there leading that receiver group and making sure guys are doing the right things, and they understand it. Even if it's back in the Bridge on the Forbes where they live, they're getting together, and the receivers are now able, the running backs are able to coach each other on things. The running backs can coach each other. The older guys, take the younger guys under the wing. But it looks totally different as far as just the tempo. We still got to go out and execute, still aren't nearly where we need to be. But just the tempo and it's always going to be better in year 2. And it's going to be better in year 3.
What have you seen from the 2 tackle transfers, and how has Ryan Baer sort of welcomed that competition there?
Yeah, Ryan Baer's a man. He's the leader of that group. I can tell you that. Ryan Baer's like this. I mean, if you want to try to read Ryan Baer, I think Ryan Baer's coming in today, right? He's a straight. He's got to try to get a smile on his face, but he just does his job, and leads by example when he's out there. But it's been great, really. I mean, I think that O-line's always got a bond that may be different than the receiver bond. Those guys bond together, and Jeff Percy's done a nice job. Kendall Stanley's done a nice job. Keith has done a great job. So we're happy. Again, no pads on for those O-linemen, D-linemen. We're going to find out when the bullets start flying on that practice field. What they have. But I'm happy with really all of our O-line and D-line transfers.
Coach, a lot of new guys on the team. What's really started to stand out? I know only 2 practices, but
The young guys?
the new guys.
The new guys. I kind of made EJ give me a list of them all, so I could make sure. I'll start off on defense. The 3 defensive ends: Jaden Moore, Blaine Spires, and Joey. Have done a nice job. Again, we'll see when the pads go on, but we're happy with them. We already talked about the O-lineman a little bit there. Bonsu's done some nice things. Emmanuel Taylor, young guy, linebacker. He's like a deer in headlights right now. He went out there and tackled somebody, in a 2-minute drill. We had to take him off. It's like he's still got to figure it out. Like he's just going a million miles. It's fast for this freshman. They haven't graduated from high school yet. They haven't been through, haven't been to senior prom yet. But he's talented. We saw that through, just the workouts. But he'll figure it out, and is a great kid. Justin Thompson's done a nice job, at the Mike spot. And then at the back end, some guys that have really, really 3 of them. Kavir Baines has done a nice job. He's twitchy out there. He's got great football IQ. Also on the hash, Josh Guerriere has been really, really. He had a nice play on Tuesday. We watched the tape today, but I saw him make a bunch of new plays out there today. So I'm happy with where he is. Rashawn Murray, playing corner, Cal PA guy. He caught an interception today, I believe. He's got ball skills. He competes. He's a competitor, and I like that. You need those corners out there that are pressed up to compete. So I like where he is. Offensively, we talked about 3 linemen. Mason, you guys saw a little bit of him in bowl practice. Mason, Heinschel has done a nice job. He's accurate. He's got a quick release. Well, I'm really, really happy with where he is. Shakarian, Turner, Boosie has done a nice job. And then we got a slew of receivers. And again, till the pads come on, till there's contact, but they all have made our rooms better. I mean, Katarius Hicks, nicknamed Blue, has done a nice job. He's got a lot of wiggle. He's got some swag out there. Andy Jean's done some nice things. Tony Kinsler is a true freshman. The other guys are transfers. Tony's done a nice job as well. He's explosive, and he was impressive all through the winter as well, just with everything he did. Cameron Sapp, another young puppy, one of our late gets. Tuesday made a nice deep ball catch, contested catch, which was nice to see. He's got some stuff about him out there, so it's fun. His shorts look like they're down to his calves out there, but he's been fun to watch. Deuce Spann is another big guy from Florida State that we're happy about, and Bryce Yates. I mean, so we got a lot of guys there, and then James London, our kicker, kicked for the first time today. He was just okay. First day, probably a little tight. He's probably not happy. He's probably pouting in the locker room right now. But he didn't hit 100% of them. And again, it was no pressure. But, again, first day kicking. Yesterday, we just, he didn't kick at all. Or Tuesday, he didn't kick at all. So that's some of the young guys.
There's three offensive linemen. Percy's a tackle, and the other guys.
Stanley's a tackle as well, and Keith is the one guard. Now, again, I think, any of them could go inside, but, maybe Percy's probably not going inside because he's like 6'7" and a half. But, I think Kendall could play anywhere up front if we needed him to.
Is Julian the primary backup to Eli? And is there any thought of maybe putting in special packages for Julian into the offense?
You saw the bowl game, Amanda, right? So, yeah, there's no question about it. They'll have to, they'll have to defend him in the run game, and he worked in the pass game too. So, there's always going to be a special package for him.
Who are the main guys?
Whose phone? He's playing music in here.
Oh, you know what? I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Oh, sorry.
That's my fault.
Chris, I put it.
No, it's different alarm. I mean, Chris,
It's all right.
there you go.
I'm not going to throw you out of the meeting.
Coach, who are the main guys going out for Michael on that?
Who are the big guys?
Who are the main guys?
The main guys right now, Jeremiah Marshall and Lovelace is in there starting right now, and then Justin Thompson. Again, we're always going to play our three best. Kyle Lewis could go in there and play Mike. He'd be dangerous. I don't know what he would do in there. It'd be interesting. Might have to try him there one day. But I think those guys have done a nice job in there.
Now, where can Kyle improve this year? Obviously, we saw a lot. Do you find some of the younger guys gravitating to him because of what he did last year?
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, everybody wants to be like Kyle. Kyle, is a super kid. I mean, he plays with a lot of intensity, and he turns it loose. He could always be more detailed. There's some things that he does that we can be better at. I mean, like everybody, right? Like everybody. I mean, he was, obviously an All-American, consensus All-American, but there's still things mentally and physically that he can get even better at. So there's, we got a list of things for each guy. They got a video on the computer of all their mentals and physicals from the season, so they can look. Okay, let me look at my mental errors, so he doesn't make those mistakes again, and then the physical errors. So whether it's going under a block, I mean, again, we know those guys. Nobody's going to be perfect, but he's got a lot to work on, and I think he knows it. But he's played at a high level in the first 2 days in shorts.
Is Chris in line to take over the starting strong safety position?
It's who?
right now?
Cruz?
Cruz,
Yeah, Chris Perkins right now. And again, we're that's why they practice. You can say starters. I hope I have 4 starters back there, right? I hope I have 4 starting corners. But Jesse Anderson's been really good so far. I mean, so Jesse's competing, over there, really both sides, with Javon. And again, like I said, Josh Guerriere and Bain, we'll see.
Did you expect Derek Davis to play at all this year?
No, not right now. He's out. I'm hoping he's back for camp. To be honest with you, he had a pretty serious, injury up there in Boston, and since September we had 19 off-season surgeries. That's more than maybe 2 or 3 years combined. I don't know, but so we lost some guys that way that maybe don't participate this spring, and he will not participate this spring for sure.
Do you have anybody else that's out for all of spring?
I don't know. Yeah, 19 surgeries. So yeah, we do. Jerry, tell him. You want to talk injuries? I gave you
What about Nate Temple? Has he been?
Nate's doing good. There's a guy that came off an injury, played the last 2 or 3 games of the season, and Nate's doing well right now. He knows he's a leader. He's a new appointed Eagle, which I think is his first time. So he does a great job leading as well. He's been here for 10 years, so that's not true, but so don't print that.
Chuck transfer?
No, Chet is still on campus. He's going to get his degree in December. He had an offseason, one of the 19. Maybe he's 20. I don't know. But he's going to probably focus most of his attention on track. He'll be, he's got a chance to be really good there. I think it's really his first love, but he's still rehabbing, an injury.
So you're the unofficial leader of the offensive line right now?
Yeah, so the old guy right now, came fast, but as of right now, yeah, try to do my best.
How does that change your role, approach?
Obviously, the only thing it really does, I just want to be more vocal. I've never been really the most vocal guy around here, but as you get older, it's kind of your job to, lead by example and also lead vocally too. So just trying to be a little more vocal.
You're obviously the leader of the offensive line, but what is a guy like Jeff Percy, who's part of the national championship team? Is there anything that he's brought to the group that you feel like has helped you guys?
Obviously just experience, older guy, and like you said, he came from Michigan, who's been one of the top O-lines for the past 2-3 years. So from what he's learned from, their coach down there and the top O-line guys that were at Michigan, so he just brings in a lot of experience and a different view from a different school. So.
Last year media that you said you had lost some weight. Have you lost any more?
Yeah, I'm the lightest I've been since like my junior year of high school. So I've really trying to hone in on my body.
What do you weigh?
I'm down to like 319 right now. So I'm just trying to thin down. Obviously, different style of offense. So.
You felt a little different out on the field now that you're down to 319?
Yeah, I feel great. I feel a lot more in shape and a little more agile, so I definitely feel a difference.
Ryan, obviously last year with Cade, it was a whole new offense style, completely different than what you guys were doing. How different is it this year now that you guys, so many of you have been through it, understand it, and as you were mentioning, kind of know the body type you need to be?
Yeah, I think it's going to help a lot more with development. Spring is a time where you want to develop. It's not that like you're not preparing for other teams' defenses. It's just you and your defense going at it every day. So now that we know the offense, it's not more of a learning phase. It's us going out and developing and get better. So now we can take this spring to really develop ourselves into the offense that we've been doing for a year, which I think will help us out a lot. So.
Ryan, is there a specific spot you're working at right now?
I'm back at right tackle right now. So.
Is that where you feel most comfortable?
Yeah, I feel a lot better at right tackle, but obviously I want to be able to play both just in case like anything happens like last year. But right now I'm at right.
What can you say about some of the new guys that are coming? We always have a person that Stanley, Baer, some of those guys. What do you see?
They've came in, they fit in right away. It's not like, they came in and they were like outcasts because they were new. It's like that's one thing I noticed is like we kind of created a bond right away. As soon as they got here, we started doing O-line dinners, hanging out a little bit, so we got to know them and their background, where they came from. And Kendall is athletic. I would say that he's a little leaner, but he can move and he's still strong. And Keith is just like that tough interior guard that you want. So I'm really excited for all three of the guys that we brought in. They looked really good. So.
What about Eli? Compare where he is right now to like a year ago this time after 2 spring practices. How different?
I think he's a lot better as a leader because he's been around the guys more. He's been a little more vocal, especially with what his standard is the offense. The quarterback, sometimes he has to tell people the way it is. He can't be everyone's best friend, and I've seen that from him, out there leading. Sometimes you have to get into people a little bit, and that's what I like to see. And obviously his game's stepping up too as, he's getting back into it. But
Ryan, what did you learn about Julian in that bowl game?
he's tough, and he can move too. He helped us out a lot. Obviously, we had our struggles, so just seeing the way he can move, and he was, he wasn't avoiding people. He's putting his shoulder into people, and he was making some really good throws too. So as a young guy being thrown in like that, I think he proved to a lot of people that he deserves to be here for sure. So.
Considering how last season ended, do you see an increase in intensity in practices?
Yeah. We're not in pads yet, but even just being in spiders, like the O-line, D-line, we've been battling, and that's good. That's what we need. obviously starting out 7-0 last year and finishing the way we did is just unacceptable. So we need to change something up, and I think we're on the right foot right now. We've had 2 really good practices. So.
But along those lines, I mean, the last 2.5 months since that bowl game, like when you talk to teammates, I mean, you guys, in the building or even outside the building, like, what do you guys talk about of what that was like you say, going from 7-0 to 7-6, and kind of what happened last season?
It was embarrassing, really. Like, obviously injuries are, you don't make excuses. You have injuries, stuff happens. Everyone around the country has injuries. You need to be able to step up, next man up, and we just didn't. We didn't really step up. Especially as O-line, we played horrible. It is what it is. I didn't play great. We didn't play great as a unit, so you just got to turn it around. It's in the past now. You just got to use it as fuel.
Good being a leader?
I guess, yeah. I'm gonna try my best. Like I said, just be a little more vocal. I'm not used to it, but I'm gonna try. But I don't know. I guess, yeah. Doesn't really mean anything. Just be the same person every day.
Who are the guys over the last 2 or 3 years you kind of have learned from about how to lead? By example.
Yeah. O-line wise, just the guys we've had have been outstanding. Seeing Matt come up as he was behind Gabe Hoy and Carter, and then when it was time, seeing the way that he led us, and then when he got hurt, seeing how we kind of struggled without him, and then even Branson, he wasn't really the most vocal guy, but when he knew it was his time, he started really making a name for himself, and that's how he ended up being a captain, because a lot of people ended up supporting him. And then I wasn't here with Kenny, but I was around when he was getting ready for his pro day and stuff, and just meeting him, just seeing what it means to be a leader and the respect that you gain. You have to earn to be a leader. You can't force yourself to be one. You have to earn that respect. So, I'm not going to force anything. If people see me as a leader, then I'll lead, but, you have to earn it.
What have you learned about Coach Baer now being under him for a whole year?
He has a standard, and if you don't play that standard, then, it just, you got to play to it, I guess. He's also really good, not a player's coach, but he can relate to us. He did, what we're doing. He played O-line at Louisville, so he makes it relatable because he's done it, and he's really fun to be around. He makes it fun to be here, so I'm excited for another year with him.
You mentioned Kenny. It just made me think, what did you think when you saw he signed Cleveland?
I don't know, man. I hope he, gets a chance over there, but we'll see how it goes.
How's it feel?
Honestly, it's still kind of crazy to me. It ain't settled in. I feel like I just got here, but no, and I've been here 5 years, going on my 5th year. So, it's also good to be an old guy. Good to share my knowledge with the young guys. Even the freshmen just came in, try to give them as much knowledge as I can, because the old guys I had in front of me, they did the same thing. So I feel like it's only right to get my knowledge down and never lie.
What's some advice you give to the young guys?
With the DBs, I tell them a lot of time about the technique, angles, and I tell them how to approach every day at practice. Every day obviously is not. Some days you're gonna get beat. It's just some days how days. Playing man a lot in this defense. So it's about mindset. I tell them to keep the same mindset. If it's a great day, it's a bad day, if it's an okay day, come with the same mindset. Never too high, never too low.
Who have you seen? How have you seen Cruz and Coach mentioned Jesse Anderson? How have you seen those guys kind of battling out for the spot next to you to take Donovan's place?
Cruz and Jesse, they're having a great first 2-day practices. First 2-day practice is really just playing fast, playing mentally sharp. They're both doing that, and they're both playing at a high level right now. And they're going to continue to get better, continue to compete throughout the spring. So, it's going to be good to see the battles and see the plays they make throughout the rest of the spring.
What has it been like having Kavir so far in this program? What have you seen from him?
Kavir, he's really smart. He's a very smart and savvy football player. I can say that a lot. He's very smart. You could tell he was coached right at his last school. I don't know exactly what his last school was, but I know he was coached well, and he transferred that over to Pitt. He's a really good player. He's gonna make some big time plays.
Are there any other new guys, not necessarily in the DB room, that pop out to you?
I worry about the DB, to be honest, but I know all the freshman DBs, they came in. Josh, Sean, is it both Seans? In fact, Kavir, obviously. All them came in. They made plays already. They understand the game plan, understanding the installs, and that's good. That's all you really want from new guys coming in, to understand the game plan, understand the install. Because once you do that, you're gonna play faster as time comes on anyway.
Over the years, there's been some high-profile safeties that come out of this program.
Yes, sir.
You follow those guys, and you have a chance to talk to them at all about what it means to be a safety at Pitt?
I talked to obviously being younger under Eric, being younger under Brandon Hill, DeMar Hamlin, Paris Ford. I talked to all four of them guys about what's the things that made them successful, what's the things that they wish they could redo and be better at, and they gave me steps. They give me steps every time I ask, and I don't hesitate to ask them guys at all because I know they're one phone call away and they're always going to answer my phone. So I always ask them for steps and guidance every time.
How did how last year ended impact how you guys are approaching this year?
The approach is just to finish. We know we're a good team. We have good players. We can beat any team we set our mind to if we play a great game. But the focus is on winning the inches because when you lose the inches, you ultimately going to lose the game. And that's what we feel like we did the last 7 games of the season. We lost the inches. We made us lose the game. So focus on is winning them inches, winning each moment, and never taking two moment lightly or too big, and just playing through the game and finishing.
What about your own game? What are some of the things you've been trying to focus on this offseason, heading to spring game? What are some of those things?
For me, personally, it's mostly coverage, mental aspect, knowing what's going to happen, knowing what's going to attack me. Because a lot of times I feel safety. If you know what's going to happen, you're going to make the play even before. That's what D. Ham, Eric Haller, they were really smart guys. They made the play before the play even started, just knowing what's going to happen. That's why I asked them a lot, too. Because they told me a mental game, it's a lot of mental game. And also, just running full speed on my tackles, making splash tackles, no slowing down, no choppy steps, just run full speed and make a person react to me, not me react off them.
What's your body feel like after a 6 overtime game?
Crazy. I can't even explain it to you. It's worse than any other game. It's like 2 games put to 1. So that's one of them games you just got to sit back. You take a little longer to get dressed, take a little longer to get in the shower and stuff. You just sit back, get some ice on your body, It's one of them games.
When did you start feeling better after that game?
Probably 2 more days after that. I just sat back, because we went back home after the bowl game, so I just rested, give my body a little rest after a long season, Sometimes you just need that rest, mental break, physical break. So 2 days after that, my body started to feel better again, back to normal.
What are the emotions like, the conversations with your teammate?
Yeah.
Like I asked Ryan, here in the building and outside the building, as you guys were talking about that game and just the 6 games, losing in a row after all.
Yeah, it's always emotional, when you lose, even just one game, but especially 6 games in a row. That's a very emotional time. But at the same time, it was talks about being a stronger brotherhood because, losing 6 games, that could divide the brotherhood. But it's talk about coming together stronger. When you lose 6, you got to find a way to keep getting stronger and stronger as a brotherhood so you can prevail and overcome the obstacles we got.
What did you guys find out about that as you were going through it in November last year?
We just found out how tough we are and how we can stick together and get through anything. Even through bad times, we know it's going to be work that we got to put in, and with us together, we can get through anything. So just never doubt each other.
Javon, how would you describe the difference facing the offense now with Eli that had a year as opposed to remembering what it was like when practicing against them last year?
I guess I'll say it's more upbeat, uptight. Because last year they was trying to get everybody was learning the playbook. Eli, the first receivers, Tay, Konate, Muffet, all of them. They was learning. Now the guys, Eli, they know the playbook. They coming just like us. We know our playbook. So now it's just more fast paced. We hit the ground running from day one instead of from last year. Now they're learning the playbook a little slower. So now it's just hit the ground running. Let's compete.
As someone who's in the defensive back room, what can you sort of say about Mason Alexander, the type of person he was, some of the interactions you had with him?
Through the short time Mason was here, it was 2 months. He's a great young man. I can say that. He brought a lot of energy every day. He was the same person, high energy. You remember PJ? Y'all remember PJ? Energized person, high energy, great person, great young man. It's sad to hear when I got that news. It was real sad and devastating. But I wish his family the best, and I know he's in a better place now with God, for sure.
How being one of the leaders of the team, what are some of the approaches you guys are taking to try to erase the feelings you felt at the end of last year?
It's definitely just lead by example, Got some credibility to you, they ain't gonna listen. So, just do what you're supposed to and then just take the extra mile too. Just bring people with you, That's definitely what all my strength coach and everybody just keep telling me, you set the standard, so you can't just be the standard. You gotta be way more than that. And that's how you're gonna bring everybody up. You're gonna keep pushing people through that.
Are you comfortable with that?
Yeah, I always did that. That's just me naturally. That's me being me. So ain't nothing really new to what I'm doing right now. It's just I'm putting the spotlight now, so ain't nothing.
Was that something like Coach Narduzzi said to you, hey, you did this, you had this season, you got these accolades, guys are going to look up to you. They're going to listen to you. You need to take on that role.
Yeah, that's what every coach been telling me, So obviously, that's the obvious. So we already know what that was going to be expected of us. Now it's just time to time now to execute.
Set the bar pretty high, obviously, with an All-American season. I mean, how do you even improve on that heading into this year?
I had many missed assignments. I had many missed tackles. I had many screw-ups. So I could easily double the season if I wanted to. It's all about how I just keep cleaning up my little plays. So it ain't like through my eyes, I ain't really feel like I had the craziest season that I really could have had. Obviously, I probably had the craziest season the beginning, first 7, 8, 9 weeks, but after that, my production definitely fell off. So I gotta be more consistent and everything around there. Just keep being consistent through the little plays and everything else.
Will offense paying more attention to you later in the season?
Yeah, that's for sure. And it's gonna be like that this season too, and I'm definitely prepared for that. So I'm already knowing what the offensive coordinator probably thinking of, just like how Cade Bell, preparing for me throughout this spring, throughout this fall. It's gonna be the same thing for during the season. So I'm definitely already preparing for that.
Was there anything you did different in leading up to last season that you think that you can attribute why you had such a good season and made that big leap last year?
I was just working hard. So the only thing to do now is just work harder. Just put more time in the field, put more time in the weight room, put more time in the film.
Well, you have so many back from that position group. What's it like in that room? What are those conversations like? Give us an idea what that room is like.
I love my room. We all come together. It's all heart to heart. When we talk, we could talk football, we could talk life. So those are all my brothers. We ain't really always talking football. We really just be joking around with each other for real. But when it's time to lock in, when it's time to push each other, we push each other. So that definitely is a big impact on how you could push somebody get better. By reaching out for their heart, seeing what they care about, knowing what they care about is gonna help them push each other. When it's time for adversity and we got nothing but each other next to each other, that's how we gonna rely on each other.
You, Rasheem, and Braylon all sort of broke out as sophomores. There's a couple redshirt freshmen on the team, a couple sophomores. Who are maybe some of the guys that you can see also breaking out as they grow into another year?
Obviously, outside of our linebacker room, you got Ja Witt. He definitely going to be a standout player. He definitely going to make a name for himself, so definitely watch out for him. And then right after that, I say Jeremiah Marshallin. Next up, Mike. He definitely going to make crazy noise. Already from his true freshman year, he was almost like the hype man for our linebacker group, the Sharks. So, he definitely going to be on that field making noise. You're definitely going to hear a name from him.